I'm Spencer Mazyck, and joining me now is litigator turned baker Warren Brown. He's the founder and owner of CakeLove, one of Washington, D.C.'s most popular bakeries. Welcome, Warren. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Spencer. It's good to be here.
So, Warren, I have to ask you, when you were in law school, did you say to yourself, you know, someday I'm going to be baking cakes for a living?
No, not at all. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do when I was in law school in terms of after graduating. I believed maybe I would practice law, but I didn't have a clear plan, and just always had an idea that I love food and I wanted to be in the food business, but I did not envision baking would be it.
Well, why did you go to law school, though? I know you said you didn't have a plan, but did you want to at least do something with law?
Not so much with law, but more policy. Before I went to law school, I was a health educator. I taught reproductive health education in California and Rhode Island. And when I was teaching these classes, the material that I had to work with, all the curriculum and the books, they didn't answer the questions that the kids actually had. So I wanted to get some credentials so I could go before school boards and PTAs to actually try to affect change, to get materials that was relevant to the lives and the questions that the kids had. And along the way, I got distracted, sidetracked, kind of derailed because people, they weren't, and I don't think they really are still, ready to talk about those issues. And food is another one of my passions, one of my interests, and that quickly came up as one of the main things I wanted to go into.
After you graduated from law school, you practiced law at the Department of Health and Human Services, but at what point in your career, though, did you discover your passion for baking?
Soon after I started working for HHS, I worked for the Inspector General's office doing administrative litigation, and it was a great job with a lot of responsibility, but it just didn't move me, didn't speak to me, and I didn't like the bulk of the work that I was doing. So I kind of found myself pouring energy into time that I had after work on weekends, just doing other interests. And I did a lot of different things, whether golf, a lot of fiction reading, just different stuff. But food and cooking is something I've done since I was in 4th grade or so. And I never knew how to bake. And I wanted to get into baking just to round out my culinary, amateur knowledge. And learning how to bake was a New Year's resolution for me in 1999. And I started with cakes, then pies, tarts, cookies, and I went back to cakes because I just found that to be really fun, exciting, different, and challenging. And a lot like work I used to do in hobbies all throughout my life, where I like to do a lot of meticulous work and just kind of work on recipes. That's my thing.
Well, and so how did you identify it as a passion? Because I know that there are a lot of folks out there who are sort of hoping to find their passion too, but did a light just sort of go off to you when you started baking or putting together recipes? How did you identify it as a passion?
Yeah, I always got excited and do get excited about food, and when I saw the reaction in other people when I would bring cakes to work or to parties, or when people came over for dessert parties that I would have in my apartment, that's where I realized that cake's got a real powerful effect on others. And I didn't just do it for other people. I mean, there's lots of things I like about cake, but I was really moved by the reaction that it brought out in other people. For me personally, like the payoff and the benefit from making it, it really kind of showed itself to me a couple different times making cakes for friends and for family. This one time I was making a cake for one of my colleagues, and he asked me just to make something that was wonderful, that would taste good, because he trusted whatever I would make. And when I did it, it was an orange cake with almonds and dried orange rind and like whole orange segments in the middle. And I put this whole thing together, and memories of mine from when I was a kid and all throughout my life just kind of hit me all at once. And I saw the idea of building a business around cake. And I saw that all my aspirations and all my dreams, I could really follow them through making cake. And it just moved me to tears.
Wow.
It made me just kind of, it did. And it made me just kind of back up and take a moment and take stock at like the challenge that was before me.
Tell us a little bit about your transition, though, from practicing law to forming CakeLove. I mean, did you just quit your job as soon as you started baking cakes?
No, it was long. It was a bit difficult. I ended up taking about 2 years to do the whole transition, but basically in 1990 or in 2000 or so, like the spring, I took a nice long walk on the beach with a friend of mine and tried to structure this exit that I would embark on. And I thought that I would have a 3 to 4 month period of leaving my job, writing a business plan, finding a space, and opening up a business. And I gave my boss notice, and I said, well, can I get a leave without pay? And I got 3 months off without pay. So I thought I could do it all in 3 months. I found out at the end of that 3 months that I hadn't even written a sentence in the business plan, hadn't gotten any kind of funding or a location, but I was just knee deep in what do I do next? Once I found a commercial space to share for production, I just started baking. But it still took another 18 months before I actually got into my own retail storefront. And the process was long and tough. I mean, starting a business is not easy. And starting a food business, I think, is tough too, because not only are all the paper and things you have to file with the city and find the financing, but you got to do all the scut work too. You got to get the ingredients and make the product, sell the product, deliver it. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, literally.
With respect to your filing of the papers, though, did you find that your legal background sort of helped you in forming CakeLove? And how much of your legal background do you think you used in your day-to-day responsibilities?
The legal background helped a lot. It helped definitely just in understanding and having appreciation for the process of starting a business and just the legal process that you have to get notice in a hearing, some kind of opportunity to file a complaint and look into things. The language didn't intimidate me. Going up to a clerk and just having to present your case, that didn't intimidate me. And there are lots of different places along the way where you have to try to sort it out. There's unfortunately no real, or at least at the time when I was doing it, no liaison that kind of walked you through, here's all the different permits that you're going to need for tax, for your business license, for your specialty of your license, like with the health department. No one was doing that. So the legal background helped me just be able to kind of take it all and make a plan. I was really glad for that.
And do you use any of your legal experience in your day-to-day responsibilities?
Yeah, but in a strange way. I always say to people, the legal background really helped me kind of unlock, I think, some of the keys to understanding how to work with the ingredients. In law, there's that secure transactions. I had this class, secure transactions, and it was all about priority in terms of who's got rights in the collateral when someone goes bankrupt. And just the concept of priority, it has a role, I think, in baking, because you're looking at ingredients and the dynamics of the ingredients and how they interplay with one another when you introduce, kinetic energy, thermal energy, and time. And I use that kind of balance of, the justice plus priority when thinking about, well, what ingredient do I want to focus on? What ingredient do I want to take the lead in, the flavor, the taste, the texture of the product? So I really kind of go to that abstract angle and abstract aspect of the legal background when I'm creating recipes.
Wow, that's pretty.
Not a traditional.
That's pretty fascinating. I wouldn't have expected that. But Warren, I
do like doing that. Yeah.
I have to ask you though, how did you convince yourself to leave what many people consider a very stable career as an attorney to pursue an uncertain dream?
Well, when I was trying to figure out if this was something I wanted to do and if I had a future in it, one specific trip I took gave me enough confidence that I could go into cakes. I went up to visit friends and family up in New York City, and I took a cake on an airplane. I flew up from DCA to New York City, from Washington to New York. And when I had this cake, it was a chocolate cake on a white plate that was just covered in saran wrap because I didn't have a box or something to carry the cake in. And when I was walking through the airport and on the plane, and when I got off the plane and was waiting curbside to get picked up, people came up to me and just chit-chatted and wanted to know if I made the cake, is it my birthday, whose birthday is it, you know, am I a baker, is this really something that I made, like what's the joke, what's going on? People were just, they were just coming up to me much more so than normal, and more than they should have, really, because, you know, people kind of keep to themselves in an airport.
Right.
So I took that as like a little bit of a focus group, you know. It's like, here I am in 2 different locations, 2 different cities, and people have a lot of interest in a cake. Maybe I can take that interest that they naturally have and build a whole business around it. That was a lot of, you know, that what drove me to do this and kind of gave me the permission to say, okay, I'll take this leap. And I did not think for a minute that I was, you know, definitely going to make it and it was going to be okay. I didn't know. And that's one of the adventures of being in business. You know, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Like, it's fun, but it's also extremely risky, and you just have to kind of deal with that.
Well, yeah. Do you think that you'll always continue to sort of focus on this particular passion for the foreseeable future, or do you think at some point down the road you might actually explore a different one?
For the foreseeable future, I'm still focusing on CakeLove and cakes and baking. I enjoy that. It's you know, it's my livelihood right now, and I like that. Do I want to do the same thing for the rest of my life forever? No. You know, I mean, I think I'm just like anybody else. You have interests that are different, and you know, I don't see that coming out right now and changing. I like public service, and I would really like to get back to why I went to law school in the first place in terms of you know, health education. But you know, I'm still not there yet, and I'm not particularly feeling impatient to get back there.
Well, Warren, I have to say thank you very much for joining us today. And the next time that I'm in Washington, D.C., you better believe that I'm coming to CakeLove to sample some of your delicious cakes. You got to open up a branch here in New York City, I'm telling you.
Coming soon, I'm sure. Huh?
Well,
thanks a lot, Spencer.
Thank you very much. For more information on this or other topics, subscribe to BloombergLaw.com. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for joining us. Bye, everybody.